Coming up on this week's Gadget Show Web TV, John takes a look at the Zoom Q3 HD digital camcorder. We talk to the stars from the upcoming movie The Green Hornet, and I bring you this week's Best Tech News. Hello and welcome to the Gadget Show Web TV. Coming up later, we chat to Hollywood stars about the challenges they faced when bringing gadget-packed adventure The Green Hornet to life on the big screen. But first, we take a look at the Zoom Q3 HD, a digital camcorder that puts more emphasis on recording great sound than most on the market. But does it have its priorities right? Over to John Bentley to tell us.
Samsung, S-A-M-S-O-N, make a range of small, affordable audio recorders under the Zoom brand. I used one recently when I was doing my Versus challenge against award-winning filmmaker Willie McGregor. I was really rather impressed with it. So I was particularly interested to see one of their latest products, this Q3 HD. What it is a flip-type pocket camcorder with a pair of much improved condenser microphones on top, which are linked to some improved sound gathering circuitry inside to really make a pocket camcorder with considerable audio potential. The microphones are positioned at an angle of 120 degrees to each other, so they pick up sound from different directions. It's combined together on playback to give the stereo effect. Audio boffins call this the XY technique. You can record audio at various settings and quality levels. There's a whole variety of different WAV settings. There's AAC up to 320 kilobits a second. There's a lot of audio connections available too. You can plug in a pair of headphones so you can monitor what you're recording or listen to what you have recorded and play it back. There's line in, there's an external microphone socket, so you can connect one of those if you want to. There's even a pair of meters on the screen so you can monitor your levels. There's a whole variety of video formats as well. You can record widescreen VGA, you can record 1080p at 30 frames a second, or 720p at 30 and 60 frames a second. I think the 720p at 60 frames per second gives the best quality overall. Tom, if you'd like to take over. I think the sound quality is actually excellent. You get a good sense of depth, you don't get any background hiss or distortion, and you can pick out the detail of sound amidst the whole soundscape. It really is very impressive. One problem I do find though, when you're filming outside, it is rather more sensitive to wind noise than most pocket camcorders. You can buy an optional extra wind sock along with a whole other load of accessories in a pack for about 25 quid, and I think you'd probably need to invest in that if you're filming outside. As for video quality, well, I think it's very much on a par with most pocket camcorders. If anything, the Flip Ultra HD I think does have the edge in terms of detail and strength of colour, but on the other hand this has a slightly wider lens and a greater selection of video settings. I think they're both in the same ballpark actually, and I don't think you necessarily notice the difference if you're recording, say, a concert. Now, storage capacity, not much internal storage on the Zoom, though you do get a 2GB SD card supplied. That'll only give you about half an hour or so of recording at the ideal settings though, so I think you'd very soon find yourself investing in larger capacity SD cards. Thank you, Tom. It's also worth noting it doesn't record stills, and that you do have to budget for quite a few batteries as well. I found I was getting through a pair of AA's within a couple of hours, although you can double the battery life by switching to audio-only recording. In general though, I think this is a wonderful idea. You know, if I practiced a musical instrument, if I recorded concerts regularly, or say I needed to record a lot of dancing, I think a Q3 HD would be a wonderful investment. It's great to know that recorders like this are available.
Right, news time now, and first up, if you're one of the unlucky ones whose iPhone alarm failed to go off on the morning of January 1st, it might not have been down to the one or two celebratory tipples you had the night before. On New Year's Day, the internet was awash with tales of iPhone users sleeping in, some even running the risk of missing their train or flight. This was due to a software glitch that prevented all non-recurring alarms on the handset to stop functioning. If you're still experiencing difficulties, you could try deleting all your previous alarm presets and resetting them. So I'm afraid you're going to have to come up with a better excuse for arriving to work late. Next, The big story this week is, of course, CES 2011. Yes, the Consumer Electronics Trade Show is the most talked about event in the tech calendar, and it runs from the 6th to the 9th of January in Las Vegas. And of course, the Gadget Show Web TV will be there. And on our website next week, we'll be bringing you video highlights from the exhibition. So if you want a first look at the gadgets that could be taking the tech world by storm this year, keep checking our site for updates. And if you can't even wait that long, make sure you follow our Twitter feed, as we'll be uploading pics and breaking news while we're out there. Updating an old 1960s TV show for a 21st century cinema audience can be quite a challenge, particularly if you're talking about the Green Hornet. The hero from this latest 3D blockbuster, which is set to hit UK cinemas next week, was known for relying on his cutting-edge gadgets to outwit his enemies, but that was over 40 years ago. So what gadgets would impress audiences in 2011? And how would the filmmakers go about bringing those gadgets to life? Well, who better to ask than the film stars themselves?
For today's top story, newspaper mogul James Reed was found dead, leaving his son in charge of his media empire.
I'm sorry to hear about your father.
Now that he's gone, I'm thinking I haven't done anything good my whole life.
Well, I think it's a super anti-hero. The sidekick is a front kick.
Do you work for Mr. Reed?
I'm his executive associate.
And they fight as much the cops as the bad guy.
Let's roll, Kato.
It's more an action comedy than a superhero movie.
I've just been a lifelong comic book fan, honestly, and this movie really presented itself as a great opportunity to do not only a big budget action movie, which we've always wanted to do, but really do our own version of a superhero movie.
I liked Seth Rogen, and I like how what he brought to this genre, and that was to talk about the relationship between the guy and a hero and his sidekick, and put forward the sidekick, actually.
Not a lot of people know much about the Green Hornet, so we could really kind of reinvent it to our own tone, I guess. But at the same time, there was a lot of cool ideas in it already, and so they were willing to spend money on it. Well, the car, obviously, is the most obvious inspiration we took from the 60s TV show. I mean, it's pretty much the exact same car from the TV show. And honestly, the whole idea for the dynamic really solidified itself when we went back and started watching the old show. And just the fact that Kato did everything and Britt Reed did almost nothing but got all the credit. And we started thinking of all that stuff. We started realizing that there was a lot of comedic potential within it.
What's this?
Is a gas gun?
How does it even work?
Okay.
Well, the car itself is pretty amazing.
Wanna see something cool?
Whoa! You did that?
I mean, there's a million things in the car, but the Black Beauty is pretty badass. It has giant machine guns. That's probably what I would pick. Not the most mature answer.
Ejectors.
That would be nice.
Sam and I always wanted to do it in 3D. I think we always envision every time I see the third dimension and I want to break it, and it's a way to make the screen invisible. You immerse the audience more, and even more than that, there is some effect that, by being enhanced by the 3D, are even more striking. So it's a really great tool, and I'm super glad I had it.
Well, that's all we've got time for today, but don't forget to check out our website early next week for video coverage from CES 2011. And stay tuned to our Twitter feed and Facebook page for live updates from Las Vegas as they happen. But until then, it's bye for now.